In this video, I'm going to explain to you about how you can set up a Python project folder structure. Okay, so every single programming language, regardless which one you use, you need to have tons of files. Okay, and the files, they get scattered, they get put into different directories and so on. You need them to be well organized. Otherwise, your code would be just like spaghetti. Okay, so in Java, you have a source directory and a test directory following the Maven standard. Okay, I don't know whether they call it main or call it source or whatever, but basically similarly, you can set something up like this for Python as well. You don't have to set it in this particular way. Python doesn't tell you you have to set it in this particular way. You can ask ChatGPT to recommend you a good structure, and then this is what I get, right? So your project in this case is called Python packaging. ChatGPT will ask you to call this Python packaging as well. Okay, so let me just bring up ChatGPT then, right? So I've got ChatGPT over here. Recommend a project structure, folder structure for me for my Python project. Okay, it'll tell you what you can do, gives you the folder structure. As you can tell, that name is exactly the same as that name. Test, right? With an S over here, that's what it recommends. And then you've got your test file in the test directory, while your source file in a different directory. So it's not the same as JavaScript. JavaScript, you do that differently. People like to sort of like put the test file into the source file directory. I think it's a mess, but I don't want to swear, so yeah, there you go. So Python is doing it in a slightly different way, similar to Java. I quite like this structure. Okay, so there you go. So that's your project structure, and then it actually tells you that it would be good to sort of like call directories without an S. Okay, if you ask ChatGPT to explain, is it better to put it with an S or not, it just says don't put an S. Okay, so so that's that. And then in terms of the subfolders that I have over here, we've got controllers, services, repository, domain model, util, or whatever, right? Let me explain a little bit about this. Oh, by the way, you try to sort of like follow the same name when you try to create your unit test, okay? Anyway, going back to these several directories, this is actually trying to explain a three-tier architecture project, okay? So repositories, you've got files inside which map to database tables in one-to-one relationship, okay? So basically, if you have a table called sales, you have a file called sales, generally without an S, a Python file to deal with like getting data, updating data, deleting data for that one table only. Okay, you have another file called, I don't know, a person, which maps to a database table called people, because in the database the naming convention generally is in plural, while files in Python projects you have singular naming conventions. Okay, so person mapping to people to do the create, update, delete, and read for that table. Okay, so that's the repository. If you need to sort of like do things like use two tables, you create a service to do the combination. You never ever do any combination within a repository, within a in some other programming languages they call it a DTO, DAO, sorry, DAO, data access object. Whatever that is called, is basically trying to access a database table. Okay, one database table. So don't do access to multiple database tables in one class. Okay, so one class, one file. depending on whether you write that in object-oriented. But then basically a service is there for you to create the combination. You use that to call things defined over here as a combination. So let's say you have some transaction procedures, it needs to withdraw some money, and then you also need to do something else or whatever. It's written in a service, okay, to access multiple tables, okay. And then controller is at even higher level. So 3-tier architecture would be controller, services, DAOs, repository, however you call it. Controller is to deal with like request response procedures, so that let's say it's a server side web container deploy project. It's like a web server. Then basically you've got your HTTP code logic or whatever or written in controllers to deal with scenarios by scenarios. Okay, so controller called service called repository, and then you interact with the database. Okay, so that's how you so write your code. Now, why do we have domain, model, and then util and so on? Basically, you want the code in controller, service, repository to be as simple as possible to actually interact with one particular framework. Let's say you've got a framework which handles HTTP or whatever. That framework is actually very difficult to unit test. You put your code logic, you pull your code logic out as functions written in utilities, and then if you need to create some objects to utilize the implementation, put that in domain or model depending on what you create, and then you trim down your code within controller, service, repository. You take out the code logic as much as possible, so that the code in there looks like very straightforward. It's like I'm doing task number 1, task number 2, task number 3. Access a bank account, get some data, do something, close the transaction. That's what you do, like some sort of line by line procedure in terms of how you handle that, do some calculation or whatever written in utilities. Okay, so that's how you do it. Controller, services, repositories, and then static logic written in this, that, and unit test the 3. Generally, you don't unit test the 3. You don't unit test controller, service, repository. It's extremely difficult to unit test. Gain not much value, but as a beginner, you might want to learn how to write unit tests for that. But I don't know, several years later, you might feel like you're an idiot, and then you stop writing unit tests for the 3. Okay, you can write some system tests, functional tests for those. For the 3, but generally you don't write unit tests for them. Okay, you write unit tests, always write unit tests for this 3. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's how you would implement like a project structure in general. It's not just Python, any programming language, it's all very similar. Just pretty much do something like this. Okay, that's it then.